So the first part of scripting Digi-key, I got set up with a Microsoft Excel file, and I do my part numbers in Altium a little bit differently than some of the other guys. But I use an Access database, and it allows me to copy and paste and manipulate records a lot more easily than working through Altium's integrated library editors, things of that nature. So anyway, I kind of set this up to drive it that way, but you can still use this script and adapt it to however best makes sense. So I don't usually use Internet Explorer, I usually use Chrome, but that creates a problem with scraping with Autohotkey because it's all set up to scrape with Internet Explorer with the document object model calls. So what I'll do is I'll find a part number in Digi-key. Let's do a resistor. And I'll just pick a number, pick a part that probably doesn't exist yet. As a side note, I usually watch tutorials on YouTube at like 1.5 or 2x speed. Try to make up for all the delays. Okay, so let's just pick a random part and hope that that doesn't exist yet. Okay, so this takes us to a product page. And I think that this will resolve to this every time. This sometimes you got to make sure that it doesn't turn up multiple search results. So I'll copy that link and then put it in a new window, and it takes me right there. So that's great. So now I've got this link on the clipboard, and I'll go to my scripts directory, and I think I have this set up to run on a what do you call it? Shortcut, keyboard shortcut. Let's see. So I'll run. Actually, I'll just run this one first. This was the first step. Run script. Okay, so that the copy Digi-key parameters script was set up to have an open Internet Explorer browser, and it's got to be a particular version. And I can show you how to get that in a minute. Anyway, here's the browser that the document object model interface with Autohotkey likes. So I'll paste, let me grab this URL and I'll paste it in there. And then I'll run this script. And I believe that's on the clipboard now. Yeah. So it grabbed the things that I need to populate my Access database. And I set up this spreadsheet here, this Access record creator, to try to automate some of the other things that I didn't want to have to mess with in Autohotkey. A lot of times Digi-key has this standard footprint definition, string of text, and it links up to something that's in our footprint library. And so I've got this footprint matcher tab where it takes the Digi-key footprint and returns the footprint that it's called in the Cytonome library. So this, I intended this to grow as we matched more and more parts, so that you can paste the output of this other program, this other script, right here into A1. See if I still got that. Okay, so it doesn't have a Cytonome part number yet. And then it's an 0805, so it recognized, it's got this VLOOKUP formula. This one just takes all the white space out of the beginning and end of this Digi-key footprint. Comes up with this match footprint from over here. And if it can't find it, it'll just take what was over here. So this is the final output that's used for this new record. So yeah, not too complicated. But I've got this all set up so that if I copy this, I can paste it right into my Access database. Then I took that script a step further, and since it doesn't have a side known part number right here, I had it script Omnify and log in, pull a part number, and populate it with all of these attributes. And I think I've got this one set up to run. Yeah, it's I think it's Control Shift C. So let's try that. So we'll go back to, this is the Internet Explorer page. And I'm just going to I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to open up the Chrome page because that's what I usually use, and copy that URL again. And I'm going to make sure that this script is running in the background. Okay, so now it's waiting for me to do that Control Shift C. And we'll see if that actually runs. So I'll do the Control Shift C now. Nope, that's not it. Okay, hold on. I think maybe it's Control Shift Alt C. Yeah. Okay, so it's opening up this IE browser. It's running that script to grab everything, logs into Omnify, searches it. Okay, this dialog came up, and this dialog is in the script, and it's basically saying, hey, the manufacturer part number was not found. It looks at this text field right here, or actually right here, grabs that, and says, okay, hey, it doesn't have this manufacturer part number, so do you want me to pull a new sign-in on part number? So I say yes, and it goes through and starts populating the different fields. Now we've got this new part number. It copies that, updates that record on the clipboard. Now it's going to go in and populate the manufacturer part number. It doesn't do the ESI stuff yet, the preferred vendor stuff like that. And now it popped up this dialog on the other page, and it just kind of gives you a status. So now that record is ready for me to paste into my Excel spreadsheet or into Access. So there's still some things to do from a component creation standpoint here. You got to make sure that you have the symbol. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste this, and see now it's got this updated side unknown part number. In the Autohotkey script, it looks at let's see. It looks at this category right here, and if it says resistor, it's gonna, for the library reference, it's gonna use resistor. Library path is always the same. The description, it uses this simple description instead of the expanded one, just so it's not too verbose. If it's a resistor, it pulls the value field over here. Yeah, resistance ohms. It pulls that and uses that as the value. If it's not a resistor or a capacitor or inductor, it will use the manufacturer part number for that value field. Tries to get the pricing information, pulls a ROHS. And so up here you can see that the footprint is this Digi-key footprint. So it doesn't use the supplier device package, because that will vary from one supplier to the next based on what they call it. But then Digi-key somehow categorizes it with their own, and it should be more uniform regardless of who the manufacturer is. So that gets put in up here. Copies the datasheet reference. Then the worksheet does its magic. It puts the Digi-key footprint here. This is just a reference to that other cell. Pulls a white space out of it, tries to match it with this sheet over here, finds a match, and the completed parsed footprint is right there to be on this updated line over here. So this over here this is now ready to paste into Access, which I will do now. Okay, so go all the way down, and when you're copying from Excel and then going into Access, if you copy the header row, then it will figure out what it needs to paste in. And I just select this whole new field there and do Control V for paste. And so now I've got a whole new line, and it's ready to paste into, or it's ready to place from Altium now. You can see there's a mistake here. This is before I had this all worked out. This should actually say 681K and 300K since it's a resistor. So anyway, this is a little raw. There might be some hiccups because I haven't used it a ton yet. So yeah, that's about it. In the script, you'll have to replace my credentials to log into Omnify with your own. But I'll email those script files over to you. Alright, that's it.